What can I say except you're welcome for this module on Maui, the Polynesian demigod? Okay. So I will admit that despite the problematic portrayal of Maui in the 2016 Disney animated movie Moana, You're Welcome is an incredibly catchy song. After all, it was written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, the award-winning writer of the acclaimed musicals Hamilton and In the Heights. And it's true that You're Welcome provides a memorable lyrical list of some of Maui's most significant feats in the mythology of Polynesian cultures such as Hawaiian and Maori. But if you're a bit older, like I am, it may not have been the song that introduced you to Maui. If you were around for the release of the 1993 album Facing Future by the legendary Hawaiian singer-songwriter Israel Kamaka Vivo Ole, which I was, that song may have instead been Maui Hawaiian Sup'pa Man. That one was written by Brother Iz's guitarist Del Beazley. Like You're Welcome, Maui Hawaiian Sup'pa Man highlights Maui's most legendary deeds. While these are modern songs, that aspect of them is similar to the ancient chants that are some of our earliest sources for the myths about Maui. One of these is the Kumulipu, the creation chant which was translated into English by the last queen of Hawaii, Liliuokalani, in 1897. I've included an excerpt from the 15th wa, or section, of Queen Liliuokalani's translation of the Kumulipu in our readings for this module on Maui, as well as the lyrics for Beazley's song Maui Hawaiian Sup'pa Man and Miranda's song You're Welcome. We'll also be reading Donna Rosenberg's versions of the Hawaiian myth The Taming of the Sun and the Maori myth The Creation of New Zealand in our textbook World Mythology, an anthology of the great myths and epics. Please note that The Creation of New Zealand is one section of the longer myth Rosenberg calls the creation cycle. After reading the introduction to the longer myth on page 351, you should feel free to skip ahead to The Creation of New Zealand on page 356. The introduction to The Taming of the Sun starts right after that on page 360. Although these readings were produced by different cultures at different times, they nevertheless present portrayals of Maui with some strong similarities. One of the most important of those is that Maui is consistently both a trickster and a hero. As a hero, Maui has similarities to Gilgamesh and Heracles. First and foremost, Maui is also a demigod, with one divine parent and one human parent. The names of Maui's parents differ from culture to culture, but it is consistently his mother who is a goddess and his father who is a human, similar to Gilgamesh. Also like Gilgamesh, the ancient chiefs of Hawaii were rulers who claimed divine ancestors. One of the primary purposes of the Kumulipu, in fact, was to trace the genealogy of the Hawaiian royal family, who claimed Maui as an ancestor. As a trickster, Maui has similarities to Prometheus and Loki. First and foremost, Maui's inventiveness and creativity as a trickster enables him to serve as a helper. But while Loki's tricks can be either helpful or harmful, Maui's are arguably always helpful for humans. For example, like Prometheus, Maui is credited with stealing fire for humans. However, his list of helpful tricks is considerably longer than either of those European deities' lists. Another difference, and a particularly impressive one at that, is how widespread the myths about Maui are. Tales about Maui are told throughout Polynesia, from New Zealand in the south to Hawaii in the north. Those two chains of islands are more than 4,500 miles apart, yet the native peoples of both New Zealand and Hawaii, as well as multiple places in between, have remarkably similar myths about Maui fishing their islands out of the ocean with a magic hook. That implies that the myths about Maui are truly ancient, as they likely traveled with the Polynesian people as they settled all those islands. All of which makes a convincing case for the demigod whom Beazley refers to as Mischievous, Marvelous, Magical Maui, as not only one of the greatest tricksters, but also one of the greatest heroes in all of world mythology.